Hey guys, how you doing? This is Paul, and the new Nexus phones have just been announced, and this year, for the first time ever, there's gonna be two new phones. So we have a smaller, more budget-friendly Nexus 5X, and then the flagship 5.7-inch Nexus 6P. Now what's interesting about the Nexus 5X is that it's actually now priced the same at $350 as last year's Nexus 6. And the Nexus 6 has a bigger, higher res display. It has a higher base model at 32 gigabytes as the base model instead of 16 with the Nexus 5X. And it has 3 gigabytes of RAM instead of 2. So it looks as though the Nexus 6 might still be a great option even 1 year after its release. The Nexus 6 was never really received too well around its release because of its price. It was $650, and at that time, Nexus phones were supposed to bring great hardware and software for a budget price, and most people thought the Nexus 6 was just too expensive. But now that it's $350, I've actually even seen it as low as $300. It can be a great budget competitor to phones like the Oneplus 2, the Moto X Style, and the Nexus 5X. So the one thing you have to know about this phone before you decide to buy it is its size. This thing is huge. It's packing a 5.96-inch 1440p display that's awesome for media, but it's also a trade-off for size. For me, it's actually not too big of a problem. I thought I might not like it, but after trying it out for a couple days, I got used to it pretty quickly, and I found that I actually like these larger phablet phones over the smaller ones. It fits in my pockets fine, and it can be a little harder to hold at times, but for me, it's worth it for that awesome display. And that screen paired with dual front-facing speakers makes it one of the best media devices out there to this day. The hardware is really solid as well. It feels premium even though it's mostly plastic because it has a metal trim around the edges, and I also think it looks pretty nice too. And the specs still hold up just fine. This thing is super fast, and it should be for at least another year or two. So on the inside, it has a Snapdragon 805 in Adreno 420 GPU and 3 gigabytes of RAM. Now the phone isn't perfect, and there's two big cons that I think hold it back from some of the other flagships. The first is the camera, and it just really isn't that great. It has poor dynamic range, the autofocus is really bad, and overall the pictures and videos this thing takes just can't compare to phones like the Galaxy S6, LG G4, or the iPhone. The second con is the battery life, and if you're a heavy user, you're gonna need to charge this phone before the end of the day. I rarely make it through a full day of use, and the battery's probably so bad because of that huge 1440p display. However, it does support Motorola turbocharging, which is awesome and super fast. So if you're always near an outlet, the battery life might not be a huge deal for you. So if you can get past those few cons, the Nexus 6 can still be a really appealing option. And of course it comes with, in my opinion, the best operating system out there, which is stock Android. It's super clean and fast, and it's going to be first in line for the newest updates. I'll go ahead and leave the link to the Amazon page where you can get the Nexus 6 for $350 unlocked. And for that price, I think it's still an amazing phone, even if it is 1 year old. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe for some more content coming soon. Thanks.